taking a deep inhale and exhaling with a sigh. Another nice deep inhale, exhaling with a sigh. And as you exhale, let all of your cares and concerns melt away. With each exhale, allowing your body to relax deeper and deeper, knowing that the chair in which you sit will support you. Finding that center of your heart. That place where we remember our divinity, where we remember our connection to each other, to all of creation, to God. As you find that space, allow the feeling of gratitude, the feeling of love, the feeling of joy to overwhelm you. Allow those emotions to fill every cell of your being. Allow it to activate your DNA and your RNA, because you are love. You aren't just loving and lovable. You are love. You're not only joy-filled, but you are joy. You're not only grateful, but you are walking, living, breathing gratitude. And allow this to well up in you, in your heart, and spill over like a fountain into every cell of your being, every molecule, until it starts to come out the tips of your fingers, the tips of your toes, the ends of your hair, shining forth from every pore in your body. Until you see yourself what you truly are, a being of light. And your light joining with the light of every person in this room. Joining with the people in this city, this state, this country, this world. Remembering that you are doubly blessed because you are spirit having a human experience. And as you find that, we stay in the silence. Gently taking another deep breath, bringing back all of those wonderful positive emotions, that remembrance of your connection, knowing that you are blessed and a blessing. Feeling the seat beneath you once again, the floor beneath your feet. And as you feel ready, opening your eyes. Namaste.
It's like the air around me. It's like the sunlight on my face. I feel the love of God surround me. I am touched by amazing grace. And all I ever wanted, and all I ever needed, was already there. Closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air. And I breathe in, and I am filled with the Spirit. And it is health to my body. It is peace to my mind. It is joy. It is joy to my soul. And I breathe out a simple prayer of thank you. And my breath becomes a song that was singing all along, that is singing everywhere. It's nearer than the air. I breathe in, and I am filled with the Spirit. Health to my body. It is peace to my mind. It is joy. It is joy. It is joy. Joy to my soul. And I breathe out my simple prayer. Thank you. And my breath becomes a song that was singing all along, that is singing everywhere. It is nearer than the air. It's like the air around me. It's like the sunlight on my face. I feel the love of God surround me. I am touched by amazing grace. And all I ever wanted, and all I ever needed, was already there. Closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air.
So if you have your cell phones, take them out. Check in on Facebook. See, you guys are on Facebook. Let people know why it's important for you to be here today. Let them know why you need to be at Unity of East Louisville. Can't get that to turn around, so let's hope that works. And then put them on vibrate or silent. That'd be great. But do make sure when you're here, when you're in this building for any reason, check in. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little tired of Unity being the best kept secret in Louisville. All right. In John 18:12, we're told that Jesus says, I am the light of the world. He who follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. In John, he made 7 I am statements. And they were always followed by a noun. So I am the light of the world, the bread, the vine, the way, the light, the life, the resurrection and the life, the good shepherd. I forget the others. He also used the I am as just a reminder of his divinity. So that's an example for us of why whatever you put after your I am is the most important word you'll speak all day. So be careful, because what you are saying, your subconscious and the universe is listening, and it will strive to make it true. But what does that mean, the light of the world? Metaphysically, light has 2 really important meanings. When he talked about the light of life, he's talking about living intelligence. When he talked about being the light of the world, it's a spiritual awareness in earthly people. The original translation said man. We're changing that a little, thank you. When you hear that Jesus said that, when you hear that Jesus said, I am the light of the world, close your eyes for just a second, and how do you picture Jesus as he said that? I know I'm taking it out of context a little bit. I'm not giving you a lot of context. But how do you imagine him? Yes, radiant light, standing maybe in a shining white robe with his arms open, smiling welcomingly and lovingly and accepting, serene and peaceful. If you're familiar with that verse, the verse ahead of it is the story of the woman who was accused of adultery. Well, there were a few of those, but this one in particular was the one where the Pharisees brought the woman to him and said, this woman is accused of adultery. The law says we have to stone her. Do you know what Jesus did? Do you remember? Got down, and he's playing in the dirt with his finger. Now, they tried many times to trick and trap Jesus, and this was just another one. Because according to Jewish law, which they were so great at quoting, there was also supposed to be the male partner who was accused was supposed to be there. And there were supposed to be witnesses. And there were a few other things that obviously weren't there because we don't hear about it in the story. They just brought the woman and said, this woman needs to be stoned. And for me, I guess I'm a little type A, and I'm a little, want to make sure that things are done the way they're supposed to be done. So I probably would have brought up to them, well, where's the man? Where's your witnesses? I would have gone back to the letter of the law. Do you remember what Jesus did? He didn't even look up, did not even acknowledge their presence, played in the dirt, and said, let the first one who is without sin cast the first stone. Didn't even look up. Waited. Of course, the Pharisees and the Sadducees all went away. And he just asked the woman, is there anyone still there? And the woman said, no, Lord, they're all gone. He said, then there's no one to accuse you. But why did they try to trick him and trap him so often? Because we have this vision of this glorious, radiant, serene being who is loving and accepting. Jesus was also a radical. This was no sissy Messiah. Jesus stirred things up, and they didn't like it. He messed with the way they had been used to doing things. They quoted parts of the law that they wanted to quote. They were getting rich off the people. And he came along and reminded them and reminded the people. He hung out with lepers and prostitutes and, worst of all, tax collectors. So maybe that light that he was shining he was shining it brightly on the injustices in the world in which he lived. He was bringing light to the wrongdoing that was going on. You know, that's mainly what got him in trouble. He didn't necessarily sit around with his disciples holding hands and singing Kumbaya around the campfire. He brought in women, which was a big no-no. Like I said, he hung out with lepers, with prostitutes, with tax collectors, with Gentiles. Oh my goodness. His first lesson, if you remember, was to the woman at the well. Do you know how many just societal faux pas that was? First of all, it was a woman. He was teaching a woman, a Samaritan woman. Remember, Jesus wasn't a Christian. Jesus was a Jewish man. And the Jews and the Samaritans didn't get along at all. And he was alone with her. And she was a woman of ill repute, so we're told, because she had multiple husbands. If you remember the story, she went to the well in midday. Usually the women went in the morning or at night because it wasn't so hot. So she must have been an outcast just to have been there at the time of day she was. But that was the first lesson Jesus ever gave. He was stirring things up. We strive for spiritual awareness, for that light in the world, to follow the footsteps of our way shower. And why do we do that? That light that he was shining in the world. Kelly Isola, if you all were here last week, and I would say hi to Kelly, but I'm sure she's somewhere teaching, so she wouldn't hear me anyway. Kelly talked about how secrets die in the light. Well, so do injustices. So does discrimination. So does hatred. That's why those conversations that we're always encouraged to have are so important to have. We strive for spiritual awakening. The revealing word says that inner light is the illumination of spirit that resides in the center of every person's being. And the revealing word, if you're familiar, is it was attributed to Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, but it was actually written by his secretaries. They kind of put together different definitions that Charles gave from his writings and his lectures. And I'm very fond of saying that it was actually Myrtle who founded Unity, and thank goodness Charles caught up eventually. So, but why do we strive for it? Are we really only interested in our own spiritual awakening? Are we really only interested in making our personal lives better? We are really, really, really great in New Thought and at Unity. We have prayers down to a science. We are great at navel gazing. But if we don't take that insight and shine it out in the world, what good is it? You might get somewhere, but if you're going by yourself, who cares? And Charles and Myrtle were asked at one point, is it possible to spend too much time in the silence? What do you think they said? No? It is absolutely possible to spend too much time in the silence. Because then you're not living in the world. It's practical Christianity, remember? science of mind. So if you are spending all of your time in your silence and in that inner world, what are you doing with what you're learning? What are you doing with what you gained? You have to take that insight into the outer world. We are people. Again, it says men, but we're going to change it to people. People are the hands of God. In the revealing word, it says that man, we're going to say people, are God in action. So, when you hear things happening and you're like, why? Why does God let that happen? Why does God? No. Why do we let that happen? In Matthew 5:14, Jesus says, you are the light of the world. 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 What does that mean to you? What does it mean that you are the light of the world? Let's do a demonstration. Can I get a couple volunteers to come up with me? Just 3 or 4. Yeah. Come on, Donna. Colette, I know you don't mind being in front of people. I didn't realize you were back there, and I heard that voice. I'm like, an angel is here. Many angels. Come on up. So a friend of mine did this in a class that we took together, and I loved it. So Colette's our first person, so I want you to turn that way. And then you're all just going to turn facing that way. So this is living life on the vertical. So Colette is our 1%. She's got it all. She's not going to have to worry about anything. Every need is met. Every whim is taken care of. You're just slightly behind. A little less. You're good for life. You're not going to have to worry about it. Okay? You're struggling. It's like paycheck to paycheck. God forbid an emergency come up. You, there's just, not even paycheck to paycheck. You're worried about hot mess. You're worried about, do I pay my rent? Do I pay my utilities? Do I buy my groceries? That's where you are. Okay? This is the person when they say, well, why can't they just pull themselves up by their bootstraps? She doesn't have any boots, so there's no straps. So for you to get there, you're going to have to push Colette off. You can see that you might be able to be there, but it's going to take a lot of work. You don't even worry about it because you know there's no chance in Hades you're ever going to be up there. So when we just worry about us, that's what happens. Colette's always worried about this person. She's got everything that we could all ever want. But she's always worried about this person behind her because this person might push her off, and then she'll have less. So that's, if you're only worried about you, that's how you're living. Now everybody turn and face the congregation. This is life on the horizontal. There's no competition. There's no worry. Colette comes up a little bit. She improves. She can reach back and grab her hand and pull her up. And you can reach back and pull him. And you can reach back and pull her. And nobody has anything taken away from them. Nobody's worried about being pushed off the ladder. Nobody's worried about losing anything. Nobody's worried about this finite pie and having a piece of it and having to share it because we're all working together. Right. Mm-hmm. And how does that feel? How does this feel? Yeah. Thank you all. So we take our knowledge, we take our gifts, we take our wakefulness, and we shine it into the deepest, darkest, scariest places. Because you also notice when you're standing up here together holding hands and you step forward and somebody else steps forward, if you get tired, it's okay. Because there's going to be somebody there to help you. Right? When we get tired, we don't give up, we rest. And then when you're ready, you keep stepping up. And then you might take another few steps and bring other people up with you because they needed to rest. We shine our light on the injustices in our communities. We shine our light so brightly that no child goes to bed hungry. My significant other and I know some of you guys know this, my significant other and I have an organization that we founded called the Food Pantry. Did you know that there are over 6,000 registered homeless students in Jefferson County? Not Kentucky. Somebody said, oh, you've got that wrong, it's Kentucky. I'm like, no, it's not. I promise. It's Jefferson County. Those are just the ones we know of. That's K through 12. Over 6,000. Right now there's a little boy in Shively who's living in a tent with his mentally ill mother. They're living in a field in a tent. My heart broke for them last night. We shine that light so brightly so that no mother has to put their child to bed in a bathtub because they're afraid that the bullets that might riddle their house might shoot their child and kill them. If you don't think that happens, read the news. If you don't think it happens here, drive 15 minutes and go to West Louisville and talk to some of the moms. Talk to some of the grandmas who are raising kids because a family can't make it on one paycheck. We shine our light so brightly so that the elderly in our community don't have to choose between food, rent, utilities, medicine. We shine our light so brightly so that our vets get the care they need and they don't have to live on the streets. So that the mentally handicapped, those with challenges, can step forward and say, I need help, and get that help. With nobody looking down on them, with nobody judging them. Mental illness is just as real and just as treatable quite often as physical illnesses. We shine our light so brightly that the people who are supposed to be representing us see that we are illumined, that we are united, that we are strong, and that we are tired of them lining their pockets at the expense of the most vulnerable in our society, and at our expense, unless you're in the top 1%. We shine our light so brightly so that all of these things will dissipate, just like condensation off the grass when the sun comes out. One candle will cut the darkness. 2 candles make it easier to see the way. But when you have everyone shining their light, when you have everyone holding up their candle, then we can run the darkness away. We can make a huge difference in this world. We are here having a physical existence for a reason. And I think part of that is to remember to reach back and help, and to reach forward and let somebody else help you when you need it. Lean on me, because I'm going to have to lean on you. Look into the eyes of every person that you meet and see their light. And just hold it for just a second. It's so hard for us sometimes to look into the eyes of another person. Do you know why? Because then you see their truth. And then they have to acknowledge that they have that light, that divinity within themselves that sometimes we don't want to admit. Have you ever really, truly looked into somebody's eyes and just held their gaze long enough to kind of see a light come on in them? Because they've been seen. So I want y'all to say this with me. I am the light. Say it like you mean it. I am the light. Stand up. Put your arms out. I am the light. I'm the light. Say it again. Every cell of my being is illuminated. Of my being is illuminated. One more time. I am the light. Light. Now take that with you as you move throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your life. And be a blessing and be blessed like you have blessed me. Thank you. Namaste.
Okay, y'all can join me on this. This is not a Don solo. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When in doubt and darkness, I'm gonna let it shine. When in doubt and darkness, I'm gonna let it shine. When in doubt and darkness, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When I greet my brothers, I'm gonna let it shine. When I greet my brothers, I'm gonna let it shine. When I greet my brothers, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When I greet my sisters, I'm gonna let it shine. When I greet my sisters, I'm gonna let it shine. When I greet my sisters, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When I need an answer, I'm gonna let it shine. When I need an answer, I'm gonna let it shine. When I need an answer, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All my daily living, I'm gonna let it shine. And all my daily living, I'm gonna let it shine. And all my daily living, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Okay. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This big light of mine, this big light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This big light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This big light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.